It's that time of year, everyone. The Super Bowl is upon us. And with today being Wednesday, by the time this comes out by the Thursday or Friday, it'll be truly around the corner. But with that being said, let's go into who do I got, what do I expect, and what do others expect. Roll the intro. Hello everybody and welcome to the Super Bowl 57 and my prediction for Super Bowl 57. I'm your host, the Blind Canadian Cat, where I say meow and I roll intros made by the wonderful K-Bob or Kababius, or whatever we're calling him. He changes his name every 5 minutes, so who knows. And dogs in the background, but I have nowhere to put anything, so all my shit's on my bed too, so don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. It's just like every year with me. We make it work. We make it work. Before we get into the Super Bowl, I'm just going to do a quick recap of last week. Like I said, you either all right or all wrong with the games, and that couldn't be more true than last week. The Eagles-Niners game, 3-0'd that. Philly won, Philly covered, they went under the points. Now, can that be contributed to injury? Yeah, probably. But a 3-0 record is a 3-0 record. And then over to the AFC game, we 0-3 that. Since he did not win, and thus not covering, and for whatever reasons, they did not go over. I'm wondering if some injuries affected them. Cincy's O-line injuries definitely hit them. Casey's offense, with Mahomes' ankle, and then some of the wide receivers going down affected them. But either way, it was a low-scoring game. Or at least low scoring by those two team standards. So, 3-0 in the NFC, 0-3 in the AFC, gives us 1-1s across the board, gives us 8-4 straight up, 5-7 against the spread, 3-9 on the totals. Spread, we won't be able to recover. It's unfortunate. Totals, they've been a lost cause since day one, so I'll take the one. So the hope here is we go 3-0 in this Super Bowl. And, we at least avoid a 3-10. So that's the goal. We're going to avoid that. And here we go. So, I never know how to do these Super Bowl videos because every year it's the same thing. You go, oh, here's the games, here's the blah, blah, blah analysis, yada, yada. But I always like to give a little recap, too. Because, it's, now that this is going to be my last video for this season, obviously, let's do a little recap. A little like, hey, what do these things get here? Now, I'll start by this. First time in a while where both 1 seeds have made the Super Bowl. And we can talk about KC being a 1 seed due to the unfortunate things that happened back in Cincinnati like a month ago at this point. It's unfortunate, but that did give the gateway to KC host to being the 1 seed. And because Buffalo, yet again, proves to come up short in the playoffs, which, again, I've stated all season, and I'll state it here. If they can't do it this year, then they won't be able to do it any year. So, do I think that's true entirely? No. I think Buffalo will one of these years figure it out. Now, will the Von Miller injury, could that have changed something? Maybe. But I think they got to figure something out, because clearly it's not working. I don't know if it's poor. Because this game especially, the offense did not show up. So what does that mean? Do we have to improve the running game? Do we have to get more receivers? Is Stephon Diggs not good enough now to help carry us over a Cincy team who, while respectably defensively, not that great of a defense. They're a respectable defense, but not a great defense. So the fact that you couldn't do much of anything there, it leaves something to be desired. And hey, maybe we can start questioning Josh Allen here. Because after this, you're wondering now, like, have we overhyped Josh Allen? That's not to say Josh Allen's not a good quarterback. He still is. And he still should be considered top 10. But at this point, I don't think we can put him top 3. And at this point, you can't put him above Mahomes at this point. and I don't think you can put him above Burrow anymore. I think Burrow at this point has earned his respects now. But hey, we can look ahead to 2023 season to figure out how these teams are going to look. But over to Kansas City, it's like every other year with Kansas City. They were in the AFC Championship game last year, came up short, blew a lead, traded away Tyreek. A lot of people thought they were going to be bad. I thought they'd still be fine. I also had high expectations for the Chargers, so I thought the Chargers would sweep the division. Ultimately, that didn't go and pan in my favor. But they did their thing. Their offense was great. The defense did enough. They never knocked your socks off every year, but they do enough. And now again, we're going to a Super Bowl with Kansas City, where it's like, we trust you, we believe you. But now there's injury lingering. You wonder about that high ankle sprain. Is that gonna mean something? You don't know. But on the bright side for Kansas City, at least their O-line is healthy. Playing that Super Bowl against Tampa a few years back, no O-line, Mahomes was running for his life with a bad toe in that game. Now the ankle sprain, based on the Cincy game, it wasn't perfect, but he looked good enough that he could still be him. He could still be him, do what he wants to do. And again, it turned out to be a rather low-scoring game where both defenses made enough plays. So when you get that kind of performance from defense, all you have to do with your offense, you get one more drive, you get one more chance, put the game on your back, go win it. And we can discuss the refs all that we want. I grow tired of the refs because, again, this shit's been going on since day one. And I will say this. Yes, it was the correct call to call the late hit. But let me throw it to you this way. Because some people are saying, don't call that play because you gave him the game. If you don't call that penalty, and Cincinnati wins that game, that no call will go down with the no call for the Saints a couple years ago against the Rams. So, is it kind of annoying? Yes. But I'd rather have them get the right call than get a wrong call, and we all spend the off season saying, damn, had they, called the play, or called the foul, then it would be different. That's whatever. That's that. But Kansas City, they did their job. Got by a Jacksonville team who got the benefit of playing a Chargers team who likes to collapse on themselves all the damn time. Sorry, Isaac. And then you beat Cincinnati. You got the ghost off your back. Mahomes has sailed through everything for the most part. The Bengals team was his first team that kind of like, hey, we're gonna mess with you. Ha 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 ha. So you got it with that. So now Mahomes can beat Cincy. So now we know that can happen. So this rivalry will be great for a while to come. For years to come, easily. But you overcame that. You're now in the Super Bowl. Congratulations. Casey's going to be around. And for Mahomes in this game, Mahomes right now at this point is going to be a first ballot future Hall of Famer. At the trajectory and the projections he got in his career, that's guaranteed. We're not going to debate that. For Mahomes right now, it comes to, hey, the way you've started your career, you have a chance, let me not voice crack here, you have a chance to catch Brady. Will he do it? Unlikely. But right now, he's the only quarterback you can argue can't. He's the only one you can argue for. So, win this one. You're 2-1 now. You got 2 rings. And you still got 10, 15 years in your career, presuming health. You can win a couple more. And even with the AFC always shifting and always getting these new guys, it seems that you guys still find a way to at least be in the final 2. So it's up to y'all on that one. But for Kansas City, it's not about winning the games to make certain careers validated. It's about winning these games so that Patrick Mahomes can have a legitimate chance of being in the top 5 all time when he retires. We're not going to talk about that right now because he's still got a long ways to go. But a game like this, not to say he's not going to be in another Super Bowl, but presuming he's not in another Super Bowl, you win this one, you're setting yourself up to be in those discussions. I mean, 2 is more than Rodgers and Breeze, more than Marino, who has none. You win this game, you have a good chance that, with all the numbers you put up at the end of the career, just to pass them in the rankings. And same with Andy Reid. We know you're a Hall of Fame coach. We know all the shit you did with Philly. We know all the shit you're doing in KC. Win this game, and we can put you up there in that top 10 coaching tree, maybe top 5. You kind of have to win a couple more, but hey, the discussions can be had. We can project. We can have these debates. It's not about whether it will happen, but it's about the discussion. And I think that's why this game's important to the Chiefs. Now onto the Philly side. Philly, with the NFC as a whole, you kind of weren't certain about things. You had your teams that you liked. These teams should be good. And then you had the other teams who are like, can they take that step? Can they make that move forward? And so I look at it, Philly, like, between, and I've been playing patterns and yada yada, the NFC East never had the repeat champion. So I had a feeling that if there was going to be a legit chance for it, it was going to be Philly. And Philly has exceeded expectations. Jalen Hurts, who knew if you give your star quarterback a star wide receiver to throw the ball to, wow, he becomes really great all of a sudden. He can still utilize his talents through the rushing game, but now he has weapons on the outside who can win one-on-one battles, can get 50-50 balls, can put up, can be reliable and challenge any DB. Who would have thought that would happen? I wish another team would do that. But another example of that, give a QB some weapons, he'll take off. And that's what Philadelphia did. Run game, pass game, defense, they went off. They did everything right. And even in Jalen Hurts has only lost one game as the start of this year. And that was the Commanders game, which I did predict, by the way. Remember that? I did predict the Commanders win that game. But Commanders had over 40 minutes of possession on that game. The Eagles still scored 21 points. And it should have been like 26-21 that Philly or DC got some lateral bullshit for a touchdown at the end. The game was a lot close. The game was very close. But Philly, it was mostly smooth sailing. There were some bumps. The Commanders game, the Colts game was close. The Packers gave you a hell of a fight. So like, this is a team that's learning. It's coming up. And even with the 2 games missed, they had built a big enough lead that all they had to do was just squeak by the Giants who were playing back as a Week 18. You'll be fine. Dominated a Giants team who was in way over their head, let's be fair. And dominated a San Francisco team who, unfortunately, lost their 3rd and 4th string quarterback. So, you can make the argument Philly hasn't been tested, but at the same time, they did what they needed to do. They dominated. They dominated both games, and now have put themselves in a position to win a Super Bowl. Now, I can say this as well here for both teams. If we're going based off your championship game performance, neither were that impressive. And I could say that about all 4 teams that any combination of the Super Bowl happened. All 4 teams did not look impressive. But granted, sometimes you gotta win hard-fought, ugly battles, I don't want to say dirty battles, but like, just not good games. Sometimes you gotta win not good games to get to where you need to go. And Philly has definitely shown that. With the Colts game, with the Packers game, with these games. Kansas City just kind of, again, Kansas City has turned into like the old Patriots, or like the Patriots of the 2010s. Your first couple of weeks, we don't really think much of you because you don't really care. The amount of times New England has gone away with being a 2 seed and still winning, in the past, or at least going to the Super Bowl in the past, they didn't care. Sure, you could be the great team now, but play us in the playoffs. See what happens. So that's what kind of Kansas City did. Now, they should have been the 2 seed. Or, at this point, you could argue with the way Cincy played Buffalo in Cincy, had that game gone on. Cincy would have won that game in case it would have been the 1 seed anyway, but Cincy would be the 2 and Buffalo would be the 3. So it wouldn't have mattered mostly in the long run, but had that game played and Buffalo won, Buffalo would have been the 1 seed. But schematics, yada yada. KC pretty much cruise controlled the regular season, all they did. Philly, for the most part, did as well. They actually beat up on bad teams for the most part. What was the Colts giving both these teams a run for their money? Colts could have arguably won both games against KC and Philly. And they should have beat Minnesota too. But, I don't know. Indy needs to figure out what they want. Figure out what they're doing. They're a mess right now. But KC and Philly. Two teams who basically set out to be the best teams in the regular season. More or less. Buffalo would probably be the third best team. But they had some weird losses. Jets game, Miami game, where they put up over 400 yards of offense, but couldn't score for whatever reason. Also, why you don't go for fourth down all the damn time? It's not worth it. But I think it's set to be a good game, and we can look back at previous years, like the Burrow versus Stafford Rams-Bengals Super Bowl was a Super Bowl we needed for the sake of something new, something unique, yada yada. But now we're back to a Super Bowl with historical purposes and historical meanings to it, but a legacy-defining one. For Jalen Hurts, you win this game. The doubts of the Alabama stuff against Georgia all those years ago can go away. You can establish yourself as a top-tier quarterback. Sirianni can establish yourself as one of the better coaches. Though, we tried doing this shit with Doug Peterson last time. And well, I guess it wasn't really Doug Peterson's fault. Doug Peterson arguably is Coach of the Year candidate as well for what he's done in Jacksonville. But then again, I guess anyone's better than Urban Meyer in the NFL, but that's a different discussion for another day. This game is going to come down to a lot of things. For Kansas City, you got to put up points. Philly's got a good enough defense that they can win a low-scoring, ugly game if they need to. Kansas City can't do that. Kansas City got to put up points. Philly can win a shootout, but Philly also can bury a team defensively. So Philly, I definitely think, as long as the players show up and no one chokes under the pressure, and everyone plays to their expectations, Philly's going to put up points. The question for me in this game is, even if the high ankle sprain is somewhat healed, or better than usual, how many points can Kansas City put up? Can they get a run game going? Who are the receivers? Juju, MVS, Kadarius Toney, McCole Hardman, whoever's healthy, who's ever going to play, who's ever at 100%, who's going to make enough plays on the outside, on the inside? Because this is a great defense. This is a very great defense. So it's going to come down to that to me. And before I give my final picks, I don't know who's all submitting because I'm recording this now, but nothing's been sent to me. So if something does get sent to me, I will show it now. So whether or not I have something here are my friends and their picks.
Alright, what's up? My name is Subleaf. I run the Subleaf Gaming YouTube channel. I run Subleaf Gaming on Twitch. I'm a Smash Bros. Competitor, and most of all, I'm a massive Seahawks fan, as you can probably tell by the Doug Baldwin jersey. And it's good to be back to help Kat out with the Super Bowl video. You know, I was in the one last year. I'm pretty sure, I don't remember if I was right in that. I know I had to work during the Super Bowl, so that sucked, but yeah. It's Chiefs versus Eagles, right? Yeah. I honestly, the Eagles, you know, for Jalen Hurts, a lot of people coming into the offseason last year were saying, hey, this is a make-or-break season for Jalen Hurts, and he did everything he could to make sure that he was going to keep the starting job, and then some. He probably should have been MVP if he isn't. I actually don't remember who got the MVP. I might be stupid for that. Then on the other side, you got Patrick Mahomes, who he's back. He's leading the Chiefs back to the Super Bowl, and they're looking like they are one of the best teams in the league. Well, obviously, because they made the Super Bowl, but like, yeah. Me personally, I got the Chiefs 28-27. I feel like this is going to be a really close game. I feel like Jalen Hurts is going to give it all he's got. This is his second season. He doesn't really have like as much experience regular season and postseason as Patrick Mahomes. But Patrick Mahomes, he is that guy. He really is that guy. I mean, yeah, there's not really much else I gotta say. Like, it's two of the best teams in the league going against each other. I feel like Patrick Mahomes, he has that Super Bowl experience, so I think it's gonna be close, but he's gonna take the W. All right, that's it. I'll see y'all.
Alrighty, folks. I have the whole thing pretty much done edited. I'm just waiting on one more person. That one right there. Hey, you. Quick, Chiefs Eagles, who you got and why?
Chiefs, because yeah, they're good. They're my team. They're gonna win. It's gonna be a close game. 27-24. Chiefs.
I like it. Anything else you want to say?
No, fuck off.
Back to other me. Oh, and as long as we're doing that, before I forget, let's go here. And like I did the other year, or last year, or a couple of years, I think I've done this multiple years, I don't know. Those who couldn't make a video, or didn't want to be a part of a video, here's their score predictions, and who they think will win. For me, I'll say this. Last year, I felt confident in the Rams because as far as storylines go, Matthew Stafford gets a ring. Matthew Stafford, especially on a fourth quarter drive they need to win, down by 4. I felt that was the most Matthew Stafford game ever. It felt storyboarded. It felt storyline. And not to get into the whole NFL scripted thing. I'm not going to play that game. I love the memes. Don't get me wrong. I love the fucking NFL scripted memes. But I'm not going to play that game. I refuse to play it. You can't convince me. Even though I definitely have called it out several times. You can't convince me. You can't convince me, Gio. I know you're hiding somewhere. You can't convince me. But you just said, like, this is a Matthew Stafford game. This is his. He got traded. He's in the Super Bowl. Go have it. But this game, you can really go either way. There's no storyboard. There's no like, this will solidify this person as someone who could arguably be a Hall of Famer. He'd be respectable. Should be amongst chatters. Like, this game is not going to do that. Jalen Hurts, he wins this game. He accepts him as a good quarterback in the league. And that's that. And that Howie Roseman, Jeff Lowry, and everyone in the Eagles front office deserves to be credited as some of the smartest people in the world, especially for getting rid of Carson Wentz. The amount of shit they got for drafting Jalen Hurts after paying Carson Wentz, and then getting rid of Carson Wentz eventually. If Jalen Hurts wins the Super Bowl, all that shit can go out the door. Especially with Carson Wentz looking like a dunce in D.C. He doesn't deserve a lot of blame for the Colts' failure the previous year, but I'll give him a lot of failure associate a lot of the failure the Commanders had to him. Taylor Heineke should have been the starter, or at the very least, give someone else a role. If you're not going to give it to Taylor Heineke, give it to someone else. Carson Wentz is a backup. Carson Wentz does not need to start another NFL game. At this point, I don't even know how a team can have him as a backup for them. Carson Wentz is done. Carson Wentz is cooked, and I think any confidence he had is gone. He's gone. It's not going to work. The Carson Wentz show is over. But for the Chiefs to win, this gives Mahomes, hey, I have a chance to go be top 5 all time. If I keep doing what I'm doing in my career, go another 10, 15 years, win a couple more Super Bowls here and there, or at least appear in a 41. But I will throw this out, because I am a fan of superstition things. I can't validate if this stat is true, but in the Super Bowl era, teams who have led the league in passing do not win the Super Bowl. It's been over 20 years since the league MVP won a Super Bowl in the same year. And that's what makes this one interesting. This might be the first time, I think, in forever, that both quarterbacks participating in the Super Bowl are who the debate is for the league MVP. So you wonder with that. I almost want to think in some way, whoever is announced as MVP, turn around and go bet your money on the other team to win this game. I want to throw that out there. And with that said, Jalen missing 2 games, I think Mahomes does win MVP. And I think with that being said, I'm going to pick the Philadelphia Eagles to win this Super Bowl. It just, to me, this team has coasted all year. And I think losing the 2 games without Jalen Hurts helps them more than it doesn't. Because now it's not this big overarching, hey, you have a chance to be one of the greatest teams in NFL history. I mean, you could still argue that Jalen Hurts will have one of the best individual years, or like record years, something like that. I don't know the blah blah blah. But I think there's more pressure on KC to perform well. More pressure on Mahomes to perform well. Which, don't get me wrong, Mahomes will probably throw the ball 50 times in this game, and he'll probably complete 30 or 40 of those passes, 30 or 35 of those passes. But I just think Philly has enough diversity in this game that they could get away with playing the game how they want to play it. So I'm going to take Philly, the line at 1.5. I got this line like a week ago, so I don't know how much it's changed. But this is what I'm rolling with in the Super Bowl, and that's what I'm asking. That's what I asked the others to roll with. But I'm taking Philly. I'm going to take the cover. 49.5 is high, but Kansas City twice now, and you can blame the high ankle sprain. But Chiefs games have not hit 50. These 2 playoff games have not hit 50. Hell, the Raiders game, they didn't hit 50. The Chiefs have not had a high-scoring game in a while. They just haven't. And I do think Philly's defense makes plays here. Ironically, Mahomes, every Super Bowl he's played against essentially a top 5 defense. And with that, they get takeaways. So I don't know what the interception prop or turnover prop is, but if you can find one, over. Mahomes will throw at least 1 pick in this game. That's my bold prediction. Or at least has a turnover. Mahomes will have 1 turnover in this game. That's my quote-unquote bold / guarantee pick, just based on how these games are. But I'm going to go under 49.5. Philly as an offense can just kind of run how they want. As long as they get away from Chris Jones and Nick Bolton, I think they'll be fine. And with a secondary that might not have L'Jarius Sneed, I haven't checked any injury report. If they're not going to have him, or if he's going to be less than 100%, that's rookies back there. And don't get me wrong, they've had good years. But if you're A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith, you've got to take advantage of that. You have to. There's no Honey Badger back there either. You got to take advantage of that if you're A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith. Which, I think A.J. Brown, anytime touchdown, is also one of the easiest bets of this game. Probably Travis Kelce too. Give him like a 2 around that one. But I just think Philly's probably going to want to try to prioritize the run game more. They'll take their shots for sure, but I think they'll want to run more. I think KC, because of Mahomes, will make it a little more tight, a little more tense. But I just got to go under here. In fact, all the games these guys have played, Philly's game even against the Giants and the Niners was under, 45 or what is it for both those games. So, none of these 4 have played a game yet in these playoffs. The 4 games, none of them hit 50. So, I'm rolling with that theme, I'm rolling with that narrative. This run game, I think Philly mostly dominates. So I'm going Eagles over the Chiefs. Give me Eagles 27, the Chiefs 21. I just think the Eagles' run game does enough here. And I think partially because of that, Jalen Hurts does enough here. So, I'm putting Jalen Hurts as my MVP of this game. He'll probably throw for 202 touchdowns, probably rush for 50 and maybe another touchdown. Maybe one more rush touchdown minutes. I don't know. But I have a feeling Jalen Hurts wins this game. And if you can make the claim with that win, he avenges those of the past quarterbacks who could run. He avenges the Kaepernicks, the Cam Newtons. He gives teams with Lamar hope, Kyler, yada yada. He gives them hope. And with that, that's going to be all. Thank you all for tuning in to my Super Bowl video. Thank you for tuning in to my NFL season. It's been an honor. I love doing this. It stresses the hell out of me sometimes, but I love doing this, and I hope you all enjoy this too. Make sure you follow me on my social media, Twitter, Canadian Cat CP, Instagram, Blind Canadian Cat. Hop into Twitch, I am streaming a little more often, and then hop into Discord. Meet all the fun people you can meet. And then also follow all my friends, who, if they made an appearance here, the links will be down below. If they have a little thing up here, and they make content, I'll put them down below. And with that, thank you all for watching, thank you all for tuning in, thank you all for being a part of another great season. Choose peace, accept love, have big trust. Good night, Internet, and enjoy the Super Bowl.